Well, hi, good morning. Thanks so much for joining me in my shop here. I'm going to continue with the alignment on this radio. I got through a couple of steps yesterday, and now I'm ready to do, you can see it on the screen there, step 2, 3, 4, and let's take that back. We're going to do 5, 6, 7, and 8. That's what I'm hoping to do today. So, we've done up to number 4 already. The thing about the situation at the end of the video yesterday, when I scanned through the radio band to pick up some stations and convince myself the radio was coming to life, I actually convinced myself it's not coming to life. I didn't pick up a single station during that. So I'm kind of happy to see there's a few more alignment issues with the broadcast band to be covered as we work along here. Hopefully the weakness that's apparent still in the broadcast band will disappear when we finish these next couple of steps. So the next step, and just looking on the instructions there, step number 5, connect dummy antenna as shown. Okay, so I have the dummy antenna ready here. I'm going to plug it into the whip antenna input terminal here. So I have a capacitor in parallel and a capacitor in series with the signal coming from the signal generator, which I'll bring over. So the purpose of this little capacitor network here is to make the signal generator look more like an antenna to the radio. So the radio behaves just like it would if it were hooked up to a typical antenna, whatever that is. A piece of wire probably is what they're thinking. Okay. This particular set of capacitors is good for a few of the bands. I have to change one capacitor when I do some of the other bands. So we'll follow that practice. Now, next thing would be, we should turn the radio on, I suppose. Make sure it works. Let's do that. So right now the radio's switched off. I put the power on. We're on the AM band still. Just that little delay there just really makes me scared. Okay, sounds good. Now, first problem is, how do we know for sure we're on band number 1? Oh, just look at the little colored square, Jim. What could be hard about that? We're on our way now. That's the wrong way. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. That's pretty good. Now we got to tune in a particular frequency here, I imagine. 2 megacycles. So this column is generator setting, and this column is probably the tuning. Yeah, of course they're going to match. So dummy antenna connected, 2 megacycles. That's pretty much where we are on the oscillator right now. Dial in 2. Okay, let's tune in 2 megacycles. Band 1. Hold on right there. A very low signal being fed to the antenna. Okay, let me just crank it up a little bit here. And this guy's doing nothing, by the way. I could take it right off my bench. Oh yeah, up. Let's go up a little higher. Okay, that's a fairly, that would represent a strong signal being fed from an antenna. Right on the 2. Wow. Wow. I don't think it gets any more accurate than that. So there's a bit of play here in the tuning, I think. Well, maybe not. I'm watching the meter, and I'm wiggling the control, and I can see the meter moving. So what it is I'm hearing this side interference, and it's just this sound. And so as I go back and forth and try to identify the loudest sound, my brain is being confused. How about that meter? I think the meter knows what it's doing. Right here. Right there. Right there. Good, that is so close. Now. And that's not bad reception strength either. Just turn the volume down a little bit. What do we do while we're here? We adjust three things: oscillator, RF, and antenna slugs. Oscillator, RF, and antenna slugs. So the weird thing about this is, to do this adjustment, I have to pop out one of the sections to get at one of the adjustments. I think it's the second adjustment, the RF adjustment. So I think it's oscillator, RF, and antenna. So what got me a little bit confused is, how can you pull out the antenna slug and then try to do something over here? Well, I mean, the circuit's missing this coil. But we'll get to there when we get to there. So first thing would be oscillator, and I'm convinced it's pretty good as it is. Why would we even want to fiddle with it? Next thing would be the RF, which is the problem. There it is right there. Let's look at the instructions before I make a foolish mistake here. Let's see what it says up here. The RF and antenna slugs are accessible through the opening at the rear of the tuner. Note that it is necessary to unclip and remove the antenna coil strip of the band being aligned to gain access to the RF strip. But surely if you pull out the antenna strip, well, I have no choice but to follow this. Okay, so we'll have to do that. We'll have to pull out the strip. Now, is there a list of strip numbers or something like that in here somewhere? I don't think there is. There's the band numbers and what the bands are, but there's markings on the strips. Yeah, I don't think there's anything here for me to look at. Okay, let me put this back on the instructions here. So I'm going to shut the set off. I'm going to rotate the band until the one we're working on shows up. You can see the band identifiers here: 1L, 11L, 4L, 9L. What's that got to do with anything? Like, where do you get an 11L from? And the one that's in contact is in the back here. I kind of rotate it around and sort of guess at which one it is. Okay, it's coming up. How do you like that? You know what? I wonder if the 2L is the one I have out. Would that have been the case? 2L, 14L, 17L. There's got to be some way of figuring out what these are. $14, 17. What are some of the other numbers here? You know, every step of the way. 3, 1, 11, 4. It's not even in any order. 7, 17, or is that that's 17L? Okay, I'm going to stop for a minute and see if I'm going to do a deep dive in the manual and try to find a hint on this. Well, it didn't take very long. I just started reading down through here, and here it is right here. Coils can be identified as to band by the number stamped on the outside of the coil strip. Refer to the chart at the top of the schematic diagram for cross-reference of coil marking bands. So let's do that. Top of the schematic. Top of the schematic. Top of the schematic, eh? There. Right. Okay, let's just zoom in on that guy. There we are. Okay, great. Oh, so it turns out band 1 is the 2L, and I do have one strip out already. I'm ahead of myself. And obviously the radio can work without that strip. How can it work without the strip? The schematic's right here. Let's just take a look at it. So the strip I'd be talking about would be this one, would be out. So these contacts would all be open. So we have the signal coming in. It goes up to contact 7 and over and out on 10. But it's not because the strip is missing. So how does it get on to where it has to go? Oh my gosh, I can take me. Oh, here we are, here we are. All it's got to do is get to here. It's got to get to 10. You see, on the AM band, it gets to 10 from. Well, it's different. It's a different antenna. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whip antenna only hooks up when you go on the shortwave bands, and it's brought over here to pin 10. Right on. Right on. So yeah, so take this strip out. No connection between the feed in, because they specify this feed. Well, I don't understand. I don't understand how it works, but it does. I don't know. The antenna signal just leaking through here somehow with this. I don't know. That doesn't make sense. It's just another mystery. Okay, let me put the words back up. Oops, words back up. I find them easier here. Words. Okay, so I'm actually ahead of the game here. Let me switch it back to band number. It's on band number 1 again. This is out, so I should be able to go all the way through this alignment hole over here and reach right through into here on the back side. Yeah, there's nothing in there. All the way through. This isn't the right one. Gotta clean up my bench here. So one of these I filed down. What happened to it? What is this one? Yeah, I filed this down to make it fit. Put in the right hole. I'm in. Okay, let's turn the radio. I should have had the radio on while I was doing that. Radio on. Okay, now you might also be saying, shouldn't you let the radio warm up for half an hour before you do alignment stuff on it? And the answer is yes. Well, let's keep going. So we're at 2 megahertz here. We're tuned into 2 here. To my meter here. Come off? No. Why is my meter sleeping? Dang, I don't quite get why I have to do that. Oh, anyway, whatever. It is what it is. There's just so many curiosities constantly flying at me when I'm doing this stuff. Okay. Are we ready? Now the object is peak that meter up by adjusting the RF. What happened to it? Don't give up on me, meter. Hang in there. Those jumps there, I think they were coming out of the radio from what I was doing. That's clearly down. That's clearly down. peak is right around here. So that was pretty much set correctly. I don't think I'd made much difference there. That's the 2. Now we go up. We do the same thing at 3.5 and do a trimmer on the gang capacitor. Okay, so up to 3.5 to 3.5. .5. So on this band, I believe the oscillator, the local oscillator, is running below the target frequency, which will put an image sensitivity below that. So what's that? Well, that's the signal generator. It's got to be an image of it here. It's just too much for my head in the morning. Let's keep going. .5 right there. So if that really was an image, then we'd be looking at 455 and 455. But that doesn't work out because 455 would be 3.5 would be here, and then another 455 would be, well, could be. I mean, what else can it be? It has to be an image, doesn't it? Doesn't it have to be an image? Okay. So how close are we on 3.5 here? Let's take a look. So 3.5 is really about here. We're getting it up here. So I'm going to put it right on the 3.5 mark. We're going to try to drive it back using the, oh, I'm not doing an oscillator now, am I? It's antenna trimmer. Okay. Antenna trimmer. It's on the capacitor. It's up on the top here. High up here. So this is a, I should have the radio tuned to the signal and max it very carefully. Okay, and turn it down a little bit. Alright, that would have to be this one. Right in front of the meter. Tightening it up. This is bad news. Did I boob this up just now? There's no change. So I've carefully adjusted this one and this one. Not this one yet. But it's not making any difference. Too high a signal coming in. The slug is, the antenna thing is out still. Oh, very interesting. Okay, so very tricky. So you read the instructions and it says on step 5, oscillator, RF, and antenna slugs. Now the only way to do the antenna slug is to put the section back in. I put the section back in. So I didn't follow the instructions. I didn't do the antenna slug part. I left the antenna slug thing out. I went on to the next step. This should be it. Okay, so I skipped something here by accident. So we're going to pop this slug in. Slug? I call it slug. okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. Just, you know, you can kind of tell, you know, I have my brain power distributed between what I'm saying and what's happening on the video and what's going on in my shop. And that brain power distribution varies as I go through the video. And sometimes it's pretty low on the video side. So stupid stuff comes out of my mouth at that point. Maybe that's what's happening right now. So I'm going to try to do this live because the section I'm putting in is not involved in the circuit at all. So why would I worry about it? Here we are. Only for fear of dropping it into the radio while I'm doing this. Something stupid like that. I'm going to do this with a tool. I have to pull the spring out of the way. I'm also doing this literally, if I do drop it, it's falling down into the radio here. Oh, I'm going to drop it. Okay, let's shut it off. Shut it off so I can be a little more handy on here and not be so scaredy cat. Because a bunch more of these have to come out, so I better get good at doing this. Like that. I don't want that to happen. They're pretty rugged things, but dropping them is not part of the program here. What did I just do? I just leaned on my keyboard. Not be this difficult to do. Come on, this should be a snap. Problem is, this is right in the way. That should just pop right in without any problems at all. No, it shouldn't take that much effort. We'll go back to band 1. Now has all its parts in, and we'll do the antenna adjustment. Right. Power on. Ah, that sounds different. That sounds a lot stronger. That sounds like an overload. So let me just back this down a little bit. Still doesn't sound very good. Sounds like it's got a bit of a modulation in it somewhere. Why don't I just fix this while we're pondering that? Oh my gosh, way up here. So we're finishing off step 5. Okay, I'll go in. Right into the slug. I'm going to verify the meter is really showing what we think it's showing. Yep. Slug adjust. Here we go. Oh, I should tune the radio. Absolutely. You can really hear the ABC working on this radio now. There we go. Down, up, down. Close to being correct. Very close. So that ends the alignment of the number 1 band. And now from here we go back. I certainly don't like the sound of that too much. We go back to connect dummy antenna as shown, same as step 5, same as step 2. So we go back to radiating a signal. Okay, I'm going to stop the video. I'll just get some stuff set up here. Actually, what I'm doing is I'm running out to the TV to kind of keep track of what's going on in the United States in case it blows up fully today. I don't want to miss that. Okay, so the next step is to this step, 600 kilohertz. Oh, we're going to get back to band 7. Let's go band 7 first. Band 7. 600. Okay, wow, it's pretty quiet. So 600 on the signal generator. Pick it up with this guy. It's all set to go. Let's find it. Very, very, very weak. Okay. I think I'm going to boost it up a little higher yet. So it's H and I now. H at 600. H is the loading coil on the main chassis. Now this is the coil I smashed. I smashed this coil. It's right here. I smashed it off of its mounting. I didn't actually damage the coil. Okay, just watching the meter as I'm swinging this antenna around relative to the antenna here, so that's why it's doing that. Something to keep in mind. Funny behavior from that meter. Okay. This is about peaking up the strength, so let's make sure it's tuned in properly here. Okay. I'm going to try to adjust the slug here. It's sticking out quite a bit. Ooh. This is going to be tricky because the the coil's not fixed onto the radio anymore, it's just floating there. And for crying out loud, it's a different kind of slug. Now I gotta go on the tool hunt again here. I thought I'd done all that. Okay, so this will do it. The slug will actually turn in there, even though the coil is kind of floating. Okay, with any luck, it's properly adjusted anyway, so we're watching the meter now. That slug almost fell out when I did that. Slug won't go in any further. Holy smokes! What did that just reveal? What did that just reveal? Is there more to this coil than I realized? Yeah, something very suspicious here. The little clip that clips the coil form to the radio is carefully soldered to the chassis. It's telling me there's a ground lead out of this coil. It hits the chassis. Is that really true? Oh my god. Well, something pretty dramatic happened there. Let's go jump and look at the schematic. Let's see if the schematic, it doesn't matter this way. Doesn't really matter. It's a long ways to the schematic, no matter how I go. schematic. Okay, so it's adjustment. It's in here somewhere. Oh boy, maybe we can find it. First, it's not on the chassis, so it's not going to be inside the dotted line. It's got to be outside the dotted line. Is that it? No, 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 no. This is an IF. Maybe it's on the antenna side. It's on the other side of this tag. It's over here somewhere. Located on main chassis. This is it here. Now let's look carefully at it now. So there's a winding, one wire, the other way, and I don't see anything. 11, back to 10. I don't know. What actually happened there? Okay, so this doesn't suggest there's a third wire or something going to ground from the coil. That's still extremely suspicious. So let's take a close look at the coil. Why don't we do that? Oh yeah, that's right. Got the two-screen thing happening here. My other camera. There it is. Okay, bear with me a sec. Okay. So first question, is there some ground thing that I ripped off there? You can see anything at all? Of course, they might just ground that little metal bracket because they just don't want it to start floating, and it's very close to this coil here. Oh, jeepers, crashed into it. You know, it's two coils and a slug. It's quite clearly just two wires coming from it. Well, I'm going to manipulate it and see if the radio jumps to life at some point. Oh, son of a gun, talk about manipulate it. I just punched the radio there with my hand. That didn't help. You know, that could have fixed it right then and there. A good punch. My parents used to try to fix me with a good swift kick. No, they never actually kicked me, but they used to threaten me. You deserve a swift kick. That's what I used to get all the time. So there's something a little funny right up here. I don't know what that is. I was pushing it onto the chassis when the whole radio just came to life like crazy. What could have happened was I touched this wire. But sure seemed to come really to life. Let me put the, you know what, it's easier if I put the slug thing in. We'll duplicate what I did. And all of a sudden this thing just came to life like crazy. I was turning the slug. Something else happened? Did I touch something else? You know, based on the idea that there's nothing at the bottom of this form, so, you know, banging away, I'm not going to do anything. Something definitely happened there. Did I touch the lead back here? The thing is, it really came in good. Oh, heavens, not again. Not again. Nope. Something happened there. Oh! What was that? Oh, what's going on here? Okay, so I don't want to wiggle this. It's come off again. That's what's happened. Well, that's funny now, because this would be on, wouldn't it? And that would be off. You son of a gun, you. There we go again. Setbacks at every turn with this radio. Wow. We're going to get a look at that antenna connector here if I can figure out how to do this. Looking at what's underneath that green wire. This is very, very awkward here. So there's the antenna connector up there. Going on. Is that now? That's not the end that I soldered. That's the other. Must be the end I soldered. Come on, give me some light in here for crying out loud. Yeah, that's where I soldered it, and of course it's off. Yeah, no doubt. My solder job didn't hold. So here we are, having done all kinds of work on this radio. Probably the antenna was never connected right. The solder probably gave out pretty early on in my game here, and the result is where I am now. So I think it's pretty clear. I've got to fix this problem in some fashion where it's not going to act up again. I'm really quite disappointed about that. I thought I had that pretty solid. The answer is no. So I'm going to go ahead and work at that off camera, because you've seen what's involved, and access to it is up through here, and I got to do a lot to get the radio. Too bad. Definitely too bad. Okay, so I'll fix that one way or another so it can never cause this problem again. Mark my words. Well, here's a closer look at it so we can verify. Let me wiggle it now. Yeah, look, it's right off. So what I did last time, I was all excited about it. I probably barely tacked it on, in fact. So, you know, what am I going to do here? This plug, if the radio is used actively, would be pulled in and out occasionally to put in the other antenna. And the result of that is this thing's going to get worked. You know, the best thing to do is to like strain relief this with a little piece of wire. I put a little piece of wire on the chassis and then bring it up and put it on the that would be a better way of doing this. And do I even have to solder it in there? Can't I solder it? Can I put a wire on that terminal and then like bring it up, you know, even just for consideration, underneath the screw even to tighten it down? And there's probably another grounding area not too far away anyway. I mean, this bracket solders here. The bracket itself is soldered. I think it's better that I attach a wire to the terminal there and bring it somewhere to a better grounded terminal. So where's the ground going from these terminals? I don't know. Is there something handy right in there? I don't think so. So that's why I'm going to put a wire on there, and I think, you know, I'm tempted to put it under this screw. The screw's not a bolted screw; it's just a threaded screw. Yeah. So I'd have to go right on the outside here. That's not the best arrangement. I'll find something, but I think that's the approach I want to take. Is wire to the chassis. Okay, sort that out. Okay, so I got a scheme here. I'm going to show it to you because maybe you've got this radio and maybe you got the same problem. So again, that's the bottom. That's the part that needs to be soldered to the chassis. Now, what I discovered is just on the other side of this capacitor is a bare wire. See it there? That bare wire comes up and goes into the chassis solder blob. You see right in the center of the camera there. So that's a groundable wire, or grounded wire. I can get on that wire fairly easily. I can solder to it, and then just bring the wire over and solder it to the ground terminal here. I'm done. It's that easy. Yeah, that easy. So I got to fish wires through there and do a bunch of fiddly work. So I'll get that done. Looks good to my eye here. Good, let's solder that in place. Yeah, this is a better repair. Even if I got the first one soldered in pretty good, and you know, realistically this radio is going to sit on a shelf for the rest of its life. I mean, the reality is it's not going to be used that much. But the original technique they used here, I think, is probably a very common failure mode in these radios. I'll bet you that's the case. Okay, well, that's soldered on there nicely. Wow, okay. So what this means is most of the alignment work I've done on this radio has been bogus. I don't know if the connection was proper or not. It probably was okay until just the last little bit, but I don't know. So we're going to have to kind of work back through a number of alignment steps in order to verify that in fact the radio is aligned. Yeah, I think it's a do-over situation here again, even if it's just to verify what's going on. Oh my gosh, this radio, I tell you, if you like fixing radios, this is a good one. Lots of fixing required. We've got the speaker leader. Okay. I think we can start this radio up now. And we're going to be okay. Volume down. The band we're on is the AM band. Didn't really do much to the radio. I shouldn't be too worried about it. Power on! Famous last words, huh? Listen, look at. Where'd our radio go? Are we really on band 7? It's long wave, empty, band 7. Maybe the radio's in a very quiet spot. Oh, I took a tube out. Oh heavens, that's bad news. Punch me in the head here. Oh man. Sooner or later. Okay, so I don't know what happened to this radio, but hopefully nothing. Please, nothing. Please, work now. Oh my god, I'm just heartbroken here. Lucky day in Jim's shop. So I don't know if, like it says, do not pull out a tube while the radio's operating. If you pull it out and then operate the radio, is that the same thing? I don't know. Apparently in this case not, so I didn't seem to do any damage. Goody, goody, goody. Okay, I'm feeling a little better again. What an up and down ride this radio is. So we're verifying now that it's working on the AM band and trying to convince me that it doesn't need to be realigned from square one. Doesn't get anybody. There's the signal generator. Oh, that's nice. I like that. That's really nice. So that's a strong signal. Knock it back a little bit. But I'm not picking up any commercial stations. The only way we can know if this thing is, because the antenna was potentially disconnected, the only way is to repeat the whole alignment process again. Oh. It's the price you pay for moving things up. $1,500. $1,500 sounds funny, but it's $1,500 at $1,500. So probably what's happened is that antenna separated. It may have been right at the moment I had my hand back there, so it may have been solid for all of this, and then it separated. Whoop! I want to turn it off. Turn it off. Check it, 600. 600. Well, if it did knock the tuning off, it's not by much at all. It sure seems to be receiving well. Let's set this to 640. Tune it in. Where is it? Very powerful signal. So there's interference right on the station I'd like to tune in. But this should be, you should hear 6:40 a.m. here. Not a thing. Of course, we're not done the alignment process. Okay, so then I did the, where was I at? I was just getting ready to start again on step number whatever it was. And that's when I discovered I was getting ready to do the slug back here. And then I discovered the problem. So we're ready on that. Ready on the slug. Okay, let me stop and get everything together here. I do want to finish this AM band this morning. Okay, so here we are, we're on step number 7, 600 kilohertz, that's roughly where I am. 600 kilohertz, and H, the loading coil, they call it. That's that guy. Good, got my tool. Now, you don't have to do this right at 600. You could though. Come on, wake up. Oh, it turned it off. I guess I thought it was finished here at one point and stormed out. Stormed out and sat down in front of the TV, started watching the United States coming apart at the seams, and came back in here. There goes the meter warming up. Whack, there we are. Okay, volume check. So we want the radio tuned in for maximum reading on the meter. It's really jumping around, isn't it? Let me find a quieter spot to do this. Ooh, pretty quiet down here. Yeah, that's nicer. That's way nicer. Okay. I'm doing a peak up thing, so we don't have to be dead on any particular frequency. We just need the radio to be tuned in really well. There we go. Now the slug. And my hand may be interfering here a little bit. Not too much. Okay, we're in. What the heck was that? You know what that was? I grounded the terminal briefly against this shield. That's what happened there. Okay, turn that screw. Turn that guy. It's going down. It's coming up, 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 and back down. So the slug is practically falling out of that. It's almost out of that. Now the next thing is the capacitor right here, which we have to do. And that's done up at 1500, isn't it? Where is it done? 1400. Antenna trimmer on side of tuner. Okay, so we'll go up to 1400 here. Lots of volume now out of this radio, that's for sure. Where are we going again? 1400. Can I find a quiet spot? Right there. It's just somewhere below 1400. There it is. Tune it in. Get it on the meter. Not so good. Oh, this will help. So there's definitely something wrong with that sound. It sounds like it has a hum modulation in the 60 cycle hum modulating the sound. That's what it sounds like. Okay, let's get this guy on the meter. That would be the spot. I think I can just take a screwdriver and go right up. I had my hand in the screwdriver right in front of my face, basically, to see the meter there. And oh my gosh, how am I going to angle myself here? So I can see the meter. Look in the camera. Okay, I'll look at the screen and try to do this. So my hand has minimal effect, the screwdriver is having minimal effect. What effect does this have? Okay, here we go. Down. So this is pretty open. This capacitor is wide open. Watching. Oh, look at this. So this capacitor was wide open, way far from its peak. And I'm going to guess these two guys work together. I see the slug is sticking way out on this one. Let me work that slug now. I bet you I'll be able to slug it down. A little more volume so you see it. And unfortunately, the speaker's aimed right at my microphone here. Here we go. Nope, down. No, it's in the right spot. Oh, I'm doing it at the wrong end of the band here, but that's okay. So I didn't really move it. Change its location. Now, is that going to make the radio receive? I think I did the slug at the right end. Let's find out what this radio can pick up now, if anything at all. Cut this back. Should get something in here if we're lucky. I seem to have a memory of this radio working really well before I started all this. Just not a thing. Hey, we got one. So this is 590. This is the strongest AM station here. That's pretty sad, really. So the antenna is vertical here. It's really meant to be horizontal. I can't imagine that's going to have that detrimental an effect. Why are you not receiving well, Mr. Radio? What could we fiddle with? See if something's way out. One is the center capacitor up here. Okay, I'm going to move it and return it. Didn't do a thing. The slug I was just doing. Something going on here. Listen to the heterodyne tones. Hear it change? Now it's a higher tone. There's another one in here. Don't know what that's all about. Don't know if it means anything. This station coming loud and clear on almost any other radio. But the radio is picking up lots and lots of noise. Well, let's give it a helping hand here. I am buried down in a shop. Let's bring in some more of the outside world here. See if this helps. Very suspicious. It didn't do a thing. I gotta go throw a switch. Okay, so that made a difference. So it seems like my outdoor antenna comes along with this noise you hear. It sounds like ignition noise. Okay, so my conclusion at the end of all this is that the radio needs to be realigned again. The whole process gone through for this AM band from start to finish. I think. I don't think I got it. I don't think I got it. The reception quality is very, very poor. In fact, the whole thing done again. Oh my gosh. Okay. That's probably it for this video, and I'll probably do that myself a little later. Do the whole process again, and then see what comes up. Okay, once again RF on the AM band. Let's see if we can, just by ear to begin with. So I'm getting into the RF trimmer with the broadcast band here. There we are. I'm in. Oh, there's that skip again in there too. Jeepers creepers. What is that? Anytime I apply rotational torque this way, it just goes quiet. Except when I go to demonstrate it, of course. This must be really bad contacts in the drum? I don't think so. Yeah, maybe. Okay. Make it loud. That's definitely not making it loud. I'm looking for a double peak. It's pretty clear where the peak is. Right there. Ain't much of a peak either. So that's one RF adjustment. The other RF adjustments are the last two things I did. RF trimmer on the gang. 1500. So I just did the slug when I shouldn't have done it. RF trimmer on the gang. Quieter. That's on the peak. It's not sharp peak at all. Okay, let me fix the slug problem that I just created. Use a radio station. Same peak. Well, it's picking this up now without the booster. Let's give it the booster. Here's what that same stuff sounds like on my very nice Patrolman radio. Just for comparison here. A rather disappointing comparison, in fact. AM band. Same area.
The way you roll, and you roll as well, you want to make it kind of see that when you're not getting those things from Anderson.
Now that's a very hard to pick up station, that one. Very few radios get it. That's the 590. Doing sports. 610 in here, can't quite hear it. 640. 680. And I'm not even rotating the radio to maximize the antenna. It's actually not in the best position here. So that's kind of what I'm expecting to hear out of a radio. Any radio on my bench should be able to do something like that. This one, not there yet. Now, perhaps there's something more wrong with the radio. Perhaps I have a weak tube in the radio. It's quite possible. So I think my best bet is just to carry on with the alignment process in its entirety now. Do all the short wave bands. And then at the end of all that, assess the radio in terms of whether I think it's, it needs a repair somewhere, or something more is wrong with it. Like a tube, as I was saying, or something like that. Or if it's really gotten to where it can get to. I'm sure it's not there yet. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. And this is a really big, it's turning into a real slugfest. That's what this is.